Hello, I've got for you today the 2024 release ink from Montblanc, released to mark the 100 years of Meisterstück. This is their Coral from the Origin collection. A nice addition, I think, if your collection doesn't have much orange, but we're going to call it Coral. So what I'm going to do for you today is put it to a few different types of paper. So here I've got a notebook, scrapbook I should say, that has different types of inks ranging from the standard Xerox ink to, Xerox paper, to Montblanc, Clairefontaine, some types of poster paper, sketching paper, Moleskine Rhodia, and some more exotic types of paper, including birch bark. So whenever I get a new ink, I put a sample into this book, and a few years later I come back and put another sample to see how the ink behaves over time. Some inks are quite stable, others tend to bleach depending on the type of paper that they're on or the character of the ink. So I've got some previous oranges in here somewhere. Nope. There we go. So they've recently released the Naruto ink. I guess that's about a year ago, maybe. They have an elixir ink that's more salmon, and a few reds that verge, sort of almost become orange. Then, of course, we've got their very orange manganese and some charm yellow, which is something they released with the lunar calendar collection a little while ago. So let's see how it performs. Nice rich color, high hopes. There we go, that should be enough. And so I'll run these through the different types and then give you a close-up in a moment. So while I'm doing this, I want to remind you that when you watch this, be mindful that you don't have a filter on, so like a blue light filter on your screen, because it will change the way the red shows up. Here in my room I've got regular daylight, so it should be a relatively accurate depiction of this ink. The birch bark is always a good test of how the ink flows. Oops, God, where's my mind? It's not here, obviously. It's always a good depiction of how the ink behaves on a rough surface that's slightly water repellent. So there, that's not a bad red. Coral, I would not say coral. Yeah, it's definitely closer to the red. On the bottom of the ink bottles, sad to say, you can sometimes find a code that tells you from where the ink was taken. So this sticker on the bottom sometimes has a universal number, but this is encre corail, so it is coral. If you compare it to the coral they have at the top of their finials, it definitely doesn't match. Even has a bit of purple on some of the poster paper there. Very interesting. Of course, it'll show up more vibrant on slightly tinted paper. But there on the Clairefontaine, it's not bad. So let's see. It does feel like they're poppy red. If I'd have to guess, but they do tend to have very little that distinguishes the reds from each other. Maybe closer to their Rosso Antico, released a few years ago with Patron of Arts series. Then see maybe the Tiger Red. Does the Tiger Red feel pretty close to it as well? Yeah, it does. Sometimes it's good that they've got inks that are quite similar, especially if you can't get the older ink. But sometimes if you want variety, it'd be better to have something a bit more distinguishable, a bit more on the orange side. So I definitely think the Naruto would be closer to coral. Even the elixir here is washed out, more like the coral that they have. But anyway, there you go. That's their coral ink released to commemorate their 100 years of the Meisterstück. Nice addition if you don't have any of the other reds. But if you've got a good collection of red, don't expect it to be orange. Expect it to be, yeah, I guess close to coral. There we go. Let me know if you've got questions or comments.